Everyone stopped talking when she stepped onto the range. The sun was sharp, the air still. Her boots touched the concrete like it was her own battlefield. Private Elena Torres. 5'4". Too small, they said. Too quiet, they assumed. A few guys leaned into each other, already grinning. Guess they're letting librarians in now. One of them mumbled. Another laughed. She's gonna break her shoulder on the first shot. She didn't look at them. Didn't flinch. She adjusted her rifle strap and moved to her mark. Her hands didn't shake. Not even a little. She'd done this before. Just not here. Behind her, Sergeant Boone was watching. Not just checking boxes. Watching. He'd seen this before. New recruits trying to prove something. But this one? She looked like she didn't care what anyone thought. The recruits lined up. M16s in hand. Targets 50 meters out. Standard qualification day. But the way Elena moved, it wasn't standard. She took her position. One foot slightly back. Body relaxed. Breathing steady. Boone raised his voice. Load and make ready. Everyone clicked into gear. Rounds chambered. Safety off. The air buzzed with anticipation. Fire when ready. The first shots rang out. One after another. Elena didn't rush. She raised her rifle slowly. Eyes fixed. Fingers smooth on the trigger. Then, crack. Her shot fired. But her target? Untouched. Not a single mark. Nothing. The laughter came fast. She missed it completely. Is that even possible from this close? Elena lowered her weapon. Expression calm. Almost bored. One guy whispered just loud enough to be heard. Told you she wasn't built for this. Boone didn't say a word. He looked at the untouched paper target. Then back at her. She wasn't confused. She wasn't scanning the area like she lost control. She was watching. Not the target, but the space beyond it. Boone's brow furrowed. He'd seen every kind of shooter. The cocky ones, the nervous wrecks, the over-prepared. But Elena didn't fit any mold. She wasn't surprised her shot didn't show up on the board. That meant one thing. It didn't miss. It went somewhere else. And he had a feeling he knew exactly where. Hey, he said quietly to the recruit beside him. Go check the back wall. The guy blinked. What? The wall behind the targets. Go. The recruit jogged down range, still half laughing. Elena stood in place. She hadn't moved a muscle. Her weapon was safe. Her eyes were sharp. The range had gone quieter now. Boone kept watching her. The recruit stopped at the far end. He squinted, then leaned in, and froze. His body went still. He turned slowly, and started walking back. This time no grin, no smirk, just confusion, and something else. Respect. Elena adjusted her sling. Not a word, not a glance, because she knew exactly where that bullet had gone. She didn't miss. She never missed. They just weren't ready for the kind of aim that doesn't stop at cardboard. It goes through it, and keeps going, all the way to the back wall. He didn't run back. He walked, slow, like he'd just seen something he couldn't explain. The same recruit who had been laughing the loudest now looked like he'd swallowed his tongue. Boone met him halfway. Well, the recruit blinked. There's a hole. Sir, in the concrete. Boone raised an eyebrow. Back wall. Yes, sir. Dead center. Way above the standard target line. It's clean. Like perfect. The laughter behind them stopped. Dead silence. Elena stayed exactly where she was. Still. Calm. Ready. Boone walked past the others, straight toward her. She didn't flinch. Didn't turn her head. He stopped beside her and spoke low. You sighted beyond the target? Elena nodded. There was a wind drift. Barely. I adjusted. Just a habit. Boone stared at her. You knew it would go through. I hoped. Behind them, the recruits whispered. No more jokes. Just questions. Who is she? How do you even hit that from here? Is that even possible? Boone looked downrange again. He'd been on this base for 15 years. Trained hundreds. maybe thousands. He had never seen a shot like that on day one. Elena stepped off the line. No expression. No pride. She wasn't trying to prove anything. But she had. Loud and clear. Boone turned back to the others. "All right," he barked. "Next group. Step up." No one moved right away. Then slowly, one by one, they approached the line. A different energy now. Focused. Tense. No more casual jokes. Elena leaned against the bench, watching. Her eyes didn't judge, but they saw everything. The way one recruit's hand shook. The way another leaned too far into his stock. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. Boone walked over to the bench beside her. "You trained before this?" She nodded. "Back home. My father was Army. He trained me since I was 12. No instructors. Just survival drills. Real world. Real stress." Boone let out a short breath. That explains the stance. The instinct. But that shot. Elena finally looked at him. "It's just geometry. And patience." The next round of shots went off. A few solid hits. One near the edge. One miss. Boone didn't look away from her. "You realize what you just did?" She nodded. "I do. But I didn't come here to stand out." "Too late for that," Boone muttered. The last recruit stepped off the line, still glancing at the wall, still processing what they'd just seen. Boone clapped his hands. "Debrief in 15. Clean your weapons." The line broke, but the group didn't scatter like before. They kept stealing glances at Elena, like they weren't sure if she was real. She picked up her rifle and began cleaning it with calm precision, as if none of this mattered, as if she hadn't just redefined what a first shot could be. One recruit approached her slowly, the same one who had joked earlier. "Hey, that shot, it was insane." She looked up. "Thanks." He paused. "Where'd you learn to do that?" She didn't blink. "By needing to hit things I couldn't afford to miss." He nodded slowly, then walked away. No jokes this time. Boone watched from a distance. He'd seen natural talent before, but this was different. She wasn't trying to be the best. She just was. And she hadn't even started yet. The next day, the energy on the range was different. Tighter. Quieter. Every recruit knew who Elena was now. No rank, no medals, just one shot. But it was the kind of shot that rewrote reputation instantly. She arrived early. Same uniform. Same rifle. Same calm. But this time no one laughed. A few nodded. One guy stepped aside to let her pass. They were still trying to figure her out. How someone so quiet could shoot like that. Boone stood at the end of the line, clipboard in hand. He gave the orders sharp and fast. Today's group challenge. Timed accuracy. Double tap. 10 targets. Let's see who's been paying attention. The group lined up. Targets popped up across the field. Random. Fast. The recruits moved. Fired. Missed. Hit. But Elena? She waited. Then tapped once. Twice. 2 targets dropped before others even raised their sights. Boone saw it, and he smiled. He'd expected consistency. But this was tactical instinct. Not just skill. She read the range like it was alive. Another target popped. Crack. Crack. 2 perfect shots. She didn't rush. Didn't hesitate. Every movement was smooth. Measured. Deadly accurate. Others tried to keep pace. Some managed. Most couldn't. By the end, the field was silent again. Boone blew the whistle. Time. The recruits exhaled. Some looked frustrated. Some looked impressed. And one looked directly at Elena. Private Callan. Tall. Strong. Loud before yesterday. Today, not a word. Until now. He stepped forward. "All right. I'll say it. You're scary good." Elena didn't smile. Just nodded. Appreciated. He wasn't mocking this time. He meant it. Boone called the scores. Callan scored high. Elena scored higher. 10 shots. 10 hits. 5 bullseyes. And the timer, second fastest in the group. Only because she wasn't racing. She was calculating. Boone closed his clipboard and addressed them. Good work today. But remember something. He looked around. You're not just competing with each other. You're training for something bigger. Real world. Real targets. Real lives. No one said anything. The weight of those words landed. Then he looked at Elena. You ever think about sniper qualification? She paused. A little. You should think harder. You've got the eye for it. And the hands. She nodded once. Noted. The group started packing up. But Callan lingered. You know, I thought you were just quiet. But now I think you're just focused. She looked at him. I don't talk unless it adds something. He chuckled. Fair. You added plenty with that shot yesterday. As they walked off the field, Boone spoke quietly to his assistant. Keep an eye on Torres. Why? She's not just talented. She's disciplined. There's a difference. The assistant nodded. You think she's special? Boone's eyes followed her across the field. No. I think she's rare. That night in the barracks, no one joked. They talked quietly. About training. About who might qualify for what. And about the one recruit who never raised her voice. But somehow had everyone's attention. Elena lay on her bunk. Eyes open. Not thinking about the day. Thinking about the next shot. The next test. Because for her, this wasn't a game. It never was. 2 days later, a new name appeared on the bulletin board. Advanced Marksmanship Trials. Voluntary. Most recruits walked past it. Some barely glanced. But Elena stopped. Read it twice. No one else had signed up yet. She grabbed a pen. Wrote her name. Walked away. By lunch, 3 others followed. Including Callan. By evening, the list had 10 names. Boone looked at it and smiled. This wasn't just a test. It was pressure. Real pressure. The kind that separates confidence from capability. The next morning, the sky was overcast. No sunlight. Just cold air and a sharper edge to everything. The recruits gathered at the long-distance range. 100 meters. Then 200. Then 3. Targets hidden between trees. Some moved. Some didn't appear at all unless triggered. Boone stood in front of them. This isn't a game. This is stress shooting. Real-world conditions. No second chances. You miss, that's it. He looked at each of them. His eyes paused on Elena. She stood near the edge of the group. Gloves on. Hood up. Focused. Boone pointed at the first station. Target appears for 3 seconds. You fire 1 shot. That's your window. Callan was first. He hit 2. Missed 1. Nerves showed. Another recruit panicked. No shots landed. Then Elena stepped forward. She knelt instead of standing. Adjusted her rifle low. Boone raised an eyebrow. The buzzer sounded. Target popped. Crack. Hit. Another popped. Crack. Hit. Third one. Lower angle. She adjusted without hesitation. Crack. Direct center. Boone's assistant checked the tablet. 3 for 3. All center mass. The group murmured. Callan looked impressed. Boone didn't say a word. He just motioned to the next station. 200 meters. Wind picked up. Lateral gusts. No excuses. Another recruit missed all. Callan hit 1. Barely. Elena stepped up. This time she stood. Scoped and fast. First target. Crack. It fell. Second one appeared, farther left than expected. She hesitated. No. She adjusted instantly. Crack. Hit again. Third one moved mid-pop. She fired half a second before it shifted. The bullet caught it mid-move. Clean. Boone blinked. She read the target like it telegraphed its motion. Assistant checked again. All hits. Again. Silence followed. She walked back calm. Unbothered. The last station was brutal. 300 meters. Low visibility. Unpredictable timing. Only 3 recruits even tried. Callan went. Missed all. Boone didn't say anything. He didn't need to. Then Elena approached. The range fell quiet. No one even breathed loud. She lay flat this time. Used a small rock under her rifle for balance. Smart. Fast. Efficient. First target. Delayed pop. She waited. Didn't twitch. Then it appeared. Crack. Gone. Second target came faster. Side angle. She adjusted. Crack. Hit again. Third target came high. Unexpected. She didn't flinch. Just aimed up. And fired. Perfect shot. 3 for 3. At 300 meters. Boone lowered his clipboard. He didn't smile. Didn't nod. He just said one word. Qualified. The group clapped. Even Callan. Elena didn't react. Because this wasn't the finish line. It was just the starting point. That evening, no one talked about their own scores. They talked about her. 300 meters. 3 moving targets. 3 perfect shots. No one had ever seen anything like it. Not in training. Not from a rookie. Not on day 4. Callan sat on his bunk, still in uniform, boots unlaced. He stared at the floor. You think she's ex-special forces or something? Someone laughed softly. If she is, she's hiding it well. Across the room, Elena sat alone, polishing her rifle. Same calm. Same focus. But something felt different. She was thinking. Processing. Not about the shots. About what came next. Because Boone had said something quietly when she walked off the range. Something only she heard. You weren't aiming just to pass. You were measuring distance. Like you're planning something longer. She didn't respond. But she hadn't stopped thinking about it since. He wasn't wrong. Every shot told her a story. Every breeze, every delay, every sound in the distance. It wasn't just training for her. It was memory. The kind that came back when you didn't want it to. The kind that reminded you what missing used to cost. The next morning, she was called early. Before breakfast. Boone was waiting outside the barracks. Alone. Clipboard in one hand. Coffee in the other. You free for a minute? She nodded. They walked toward the far side of the base. No one else around. Just gravel under boots and birds in the distance. I made a call last night, he said. To who? Division Marksman School. She glanced sideways. That's above my rank. Boone nodded. Which is why they're coming here instead. She stopped walking. You're serious? Dead serious. They've got instructors visiting next week. They want to see you shoot. Elena didn't answer. Boone kept walking. Look, I've seen a lot of good shooters. But you. He turned to face her. You see angles like you were born on a rifle scope. She looked down. I'm not trying to be a legend, Sergeant. I know. That's not why I shoot. I know that too. Boone took a slow sip from his coffee. You shoot like someone who's had to. Not just trained to. There's a difference. Elena nodded. Yeah, there is. A silence stretched between them. Not awkward. Just honest. Boone finally spoke again. I'm not pushing you into anything. You don't want it. I'll pull the call. She thought about it. The noise. The pressure. The attention. She didn't care about any of it. But the range? The silence between shots? The challenge of the impossible angle? That, she missed when it was gone. I'll shoot, she said. Boone smiled. Didn't think I'd need a second pitch. She looked out toward the hills. Wind moved the trees like distant signals. All she saw was distance. And how to close it. Later that day, Callan caught up to her during gear check. You're going elite, aren't you? She shrugged. Nothing's official. He smirked. Well, when it is, just don't forget us normal people. She didn't smile, but her voice softened. No one's normal out here. We're all aiming at something. He nodded slowly, then walked away. And for the first time, she allowed herself to breathe. Not because of what she'd done, but because of what was coming. And she wasn't afraid of it. She was ready. By the time the instructors arrived, everyone knew why they were there. They didn't wear rank, didn't speak much, but their presence shifted the air. They weren't looking for good. They were looking for lethal. Boone met them at the range. For men. One woman. all sharp-eyed, all watching everything. The recruits stood at attention, but Elena was already kneeling, checking wind, marking distances in her head. One of the instructors approached her. Gray hair, thin frame, but something in his stance said danger. "You Torres?" "Yes, sir. I've read your scores. Seen the footage. But paper doesn't breathe. Let's see if you do." She nodded once. Stood. He handed her a different rifle. Longer barrel. Custom scope. Standard issue sniper configuration. No warm-up. Just hit the targets. She adjusted her grip. The weight didn't bother her. It felt natural. The first target appeared. 200 meters. Slight movement. Crack. Gone. Second target. 300. Wind shifting left. She adjusted a half-inch. Crack. Direct hit. Third target. Hidden in shade. Low contrast. She slowed her breathing. Watched the shimmer. Fired. Perfect center. No one clapped. No one moved. The lead instructor checked his notes, then raised his hand. 3 new variables, he called out. Suddenly, the wind machines kicked in. Crosswind from 2 sides. Dust. Light reflection off the scope. Hard mode. She didn't blink. Next target popped. Far right. Half visible. She didn't hesitate. Crack. It fell. Another. Mid-range. Moving. She tracked it, led by 2 inches. Crack. Gone. Last one. 400 meters. No sound. No visual cue. Just a faint glint off metal. She waited. Waited longer. Then fired. Before it appeared fully. And hit. Silence. One of the instructors nodded slowly. Another just said, "Timing like that can't be taught." Boone watched from behind the glass. His arms crossed. Expression unreadable. But inside he already knew. She passed. She didn't just pass. She rewrote the scale. After the test, the instructors pulled her aside. "You ever worked under real pressure?" She didn't answer right away. Then quietly, "Yes." "Combat?" "No. Not military. Civilian zones. Collapse. Lawless ground. My father and I survived in places where help never came." They looked at each other. One said, "You're not just trained. You're tempered." Later that night, the range was empty. But Elena stayed behind. Alone. She wasn't training now. She was remembering. One shot. One night. The first time she ever had to pull a trigger to save someone. Not a target. A person. A scream. A shadow. And a decision. It was over in 1 second. But it never left her. Boone approached quietly. "You always stay late." "Only when the quiet helps." He nodded. "You impressed them today." "I wasn't trying to. That's why it worked." She looked out at the dark range. "Is this the part where I get the offer?" "No. This is the part where you earn it." She turned to face him. "When does that start?" Boone gave a half-smile. "It already has." She walked off the range. No music. No applause. Just footsteps fading into gravel. And the silent echo of a future already forming. Days passed. Training got harder. Longer hours. More drills. But Elena didn't complain. She adapted. She learned. She pushed harder than anyone. The instructors noticed. Not just her skill. Her mindset. Boone watched her progress, with a mix of pride and caution. She wasn't just a shooter. She was becoming a soldier. A different kind of soldier. One who thought several moves ahead. One who understood that every bullet had a cost. One evening, after the sun dipped low, Boone called her into his office. No one else was there. The room was quiet. Dim light from a desk lamp. He slid a file across the table. Mission simulation. High stakes. She opened it. Maps. Photos. Intel reports. She studied them carefully. "This is more than marksmanship." Boone nodded. "You'll be leading a small team in a simulated hostage rescue." Her eyes lifted. "Me? Leading?" "Yes. You're not just a sniper anymore. You'll coordinate." She swallowed. Leadership was new territory. But she didn't back down. I'm ready. Boone smiled, faint but real. Good. Because this mission will test every skill you've learned, and a few you haven't. The next morning, her team gathered. 3 soldiers, each with strengths. Callan was there, quiet but focused. Another was a medic, steady and calm. The third was a communications specialist. Elena took a breath. This is a simulation, but treat it like it's real. Lives are on the line. They nodded. They trusted her. They didn't say it, but that meant everything. They moved out. Into rough terrain. Dense trees. Unpredictable shadows. Their mission, rescue hostages held in a derelict building. Boone monitored from afar. Communication crackled through radios. Target spotted. Medic, stay ready. Callan, cover the flank. Elena's voice was steady. Hold positions. Wait for my mark. Seconds felt like minutes. A single wrong move could end the simulation, or worse. Suddenly, a shot rang out. Unexpected. Medic down. Elena's heart jumped, but she kept calm. Medic status? Minor injury. Stabilized. Good. Callan, suppress fire. She sighted the window. Calculated distance. Breathed slow. Crack. Target down. Her team advanced. The tension was thick. Every step deliberate. They moved as one. Coordinated. A machine tuned to survival. Inside the building, shadows shifted. Hostages waited. Fear in their eyes. Elena signaled the breach. Go. They stormed inside. Clear rooms. No casualties. Hostages secured. Mission success. Back outside, Boone greeted them. You led well. Elena felt the weight of his words. More than praise. A challenge. You're ready for the next level. Callan clapped her on the back. Never doubted you. She finally smiled. Not because of the victory, but because she'd earned their respect. And maybe, just maybe, she belonged. That night, lying in her bunk, Elena stared at the ceiling. The silence was different. Not empty. Full of possibilities. She wasn't the same soldier who missed the target. She was someone else now. Someone stronger. Someone who didn't need to prove herself with words. Because the shot spoke loud enough. The morning air was cold, but Elena felt a fire inside her. Today was different. The final test. Not just for skill. For everything she had become. Boone stood at the range, clipboard in hand, eyes sharp. You ready, Torres? She nodded. More than ready. The challenge was clear. A full mission simulation under extreme conditions. Timed. Tracked. No margin for error. They loaded the course. Urban terrain. Hostage rescue. Multiple moving targets. Realistic distractions. The clock started. Elena moved fast but controlled. Her team followed her lead without hesitation. They cleared the first zone. No mistakes. Next, the simulated explosion rocked the area. Smoke filled the air. Visibility dropped. But she kept steady. Medic status. Ready. Callan scanned left. Enemies at 12 o'clock. Elena adjusted her scope. Tracked. Breathed slow. Crack. Target down. Move. They advanced through rubble and debris. Hostages nearby. The pressure built. Her heart raced. But her hands never shook. Inside the building, shadows lurked. She whispered orders. Hold your fire unless I say. A silhouette moved. Not a target. A hostage. She held her shot. Focused. Then a gunman appeared. Callan fired first. Missed. Elena didn't. Crack. The threat dropped. Hostages safe. They moved out. Exhausted but victorious. Boone met them at the finish line. Time. 20 minutes flat. He looked at her. Flawless execution. Elena let herself breathe for the first time that day. Boone nodded toward the instructors. They're impressed. She knew what that meant. An offer was coming. Not just to shoot. To lead. To be part of something bigger. Later, in the quiet of her bunk, She thought back to that first day on the range. The laughter, the doubt, the shot no one expected. She smiled softly, because she didn't just hit the target. She shattered the expectation, and found herself in the process. Her phone buzzed. A message. Report to the command center. Official orders. She grabbed her gear. This was it. The moment she had trained for. Not the end, but the beginning. She stepped outside. The sun breaking through clouds. A new chapter. And she was ready. No more whispers. No more doubt. Just the steady beat of footsteps. And the promise of what lay ahead.